guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I have a secret for you. Do you want to know why our country is going to shit? It is because of people and stories like this. If you guys remember, this Megan Hall was the chick that romped basically 60% of a small Tennessee police department. And she got called out. And she went national. And everybody covered this story. She was literally the meme of the month for an entire month on everywhere. And then she disappears into obscurity like most other Tatianas do. And then last night, I came across Mr. Colin Rugg on Twitter. Now, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I'm over there at Bachelor Joker. This is the stuff I post over there on Twitter. From Colin Rugg, new former Tennessee police officer who went wild with 6 officers on the job has settled her lawsuit for $500,000. Now, I want you to understand, if you make $50,000 a year, this is 10 years of your employment pay that she got after she did the nasty with 6 police officers, because she's just a poor innocent flower woman and she doesn't know what she's doing. So obviously it must have been the men that took advantage of her. So what he's repeating mostly of what, now this is kind of funny, you probably saw this I'm probably going to put this as an intro. She got $500,000 for doing this with 6 dudes. She got $500,000 for doing this, for those of you just listening, she's riding the bull. You know what I'm saying? Well, here's the original story. I actually did a video on this at the time, which was January 9th, a year ago. Tennessee cops, including married female officer, fired after repeated wild romps in the bedroom. Small Tennessee police station's been rocked by allegations of wild misconduct after a married female officer allegedly had steamy romps with 6 male officers, including illicit on-duty liaisons, according to reports. Officer Megan Hall and her fellow officers did the Girls Gone Wild thing. She engaged in sending wild pictures, taking off her top at a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party, and even doing the old Australian kiss with two officers in the Laverne, Tennessee Police Department. She slept with I think it was this dude and his wife. She slept with both of them. And this guy, and then. And she became the meme of the month. Well, from March 21st, last night, ex-Tennessee cop Megan Hall, fired over the sexual trysts with 6 other officers, settles federal lawsuit that will cost the city a whopping $500,000. Holding women accountable is like running across the beach with a handful of water and then throwing it on a fire to try to put it out. It's impossible. I don't know if you've ever tried to run with a handful of water for any distance. It's not going to happen. Former Tennessee cop who got axed for her trysts with 6 other officers on the job has settled her federal lawsuit against the former employer for a whopping $500,000, according to reports. Megan Hall, who claimed she was groomed by a cadre of male colleagues on the force, sued the city of Laverne last year after word of her raunchy romps made national headlines. On Wednesday, the Laverne board voted 3-1 at a special meeting to settle the lawsuit, because I guess they just were embarrassed that they hired such a trashy cop and wanted out of the news. Here's my thing with the allegations she was, quote-unquote, groomed. Dude comes to you. Hey, how about this? You go to your boss. This guy just did this. I'm uncomfortable. Problem solved. You'll probably get a payout from that. Another coworker sends you an inappropriate photo and you're not happy about it. You go to your boss. If he doesn't do anything, okay, now you go to the city council. Now you get an attorney, lawyer up. You're going to get paid. But instead, she said, sounds good to me. I would like to schlob on the knob for a little bit. And and remember, she's married, guys. She's married at the time. And so instead, she goes through all her little craziness, and then she says, well, it wasn't me. They convinced me and told me I had to do this. Laverne Board of Mayor Aldermen voted tonight to authorize the mayor to sign a settlement agreement between the city of Laverne and former police officer Megan Hall. City leaders wrote in a statement, according to the outlet. This is former Laverne, Tennessee cop. Megan Hall claims she was sexualized, blah, 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 blah. I think this is her lawyer because her husband, dude, look at this is the face. Oh, come on. Why can't I zoom in? This is the face of somebody that got $500,000 from Tennessee. Don't tell me women have a hard time. Oh, there's femcells. Women have an incredibly hard time getting laid. No, not happening. If this thing can get 6 cops that she works with to plow her, don't tell me it's hard for women. Shut up. The agreement was negotiated between the attorneys representing the city and Hall. The statement said the city's insurance provider will pay the sum of $500,000 to Hall as a gross settlement, which includes court costs, attorney fees, and expenses. City denies any admission of liability. Oh, the city denies admission of liability, but what about her? Nope, she gets a payout. She gets a payout. So now they say, well, it's going to be the insurance that pays this out. Okay, the insurance premiums for the police department just went up. There go your tax dollars. Your tax dollars just paid for this sloot to take on half of the police force. Balls deep to take on the police force. Hall 28 made national headlines last year after his station house sexcapades went public, including affairs with her supervisor and others. According to an internal investigation, Hall hooked up with several colleagues. She sent them spicy photos and went topless in a Girls Gone Wild theme hot party, even performed the Australian kiss on 2 cops while on duty. She also allegedly had a threesome with one of the cops and his wife. Shocking investigation report included findings that the police chief Burrell, or Chip Davis, who was fired over the scandal, not only knew about Hall's hookups, but joked about the situation with others in the city. Okay, so he didn't take appropriate actions. So he got fired. Why do people's tax dollars have to go to pay this? This is the she got basically paid $100,000 per dude, just about. Talk about Girls Gone Wild. You know, this if you want to know why society is going to shit, this is why. Because the worst of the worst win. The bad ones win. The good ones suffer. I just, what's her excuse here? She says, I know what most people are saying, she said during her first public comments about the scandal. You know, I could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is I did say no, and Powell wouldn't take no for an answer. Eventually, I gave in from the pressure. That's BS. That's BS. We know this. This is not the first, also me situation here. She says no. He pressures her. She goes to you're a public official. You're working for the city. You go to the city council. You complain to the next rung up. Then you file the lawsuits. Then you get your payouts, because that's how this goes if he was being inappropriate. But she never had a chance to go talk to anybody. Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at like a piece of meat to be exploited. Yes, yes. Such a steaming hot piece of meat. Like cat shit on a frying pan. That's real hot. Like warm diarrhea cat shit in a frying pan. That's what a hot piece of meat this is. Oh, how could she say no? Hall blamed her randy behavior on a troubled marriage. Oh, so it's not the guys. It's not the men in city. It's not the other cops. It's actually my troubled marriage. That's what it really is. It wasn't me, it was the other cops. It wasn't me, it was my troubled marriage. It wasn't me, it was bad things from my childhood. It wasn't me, I was, I don't know, on Medicaid, whatever. God, this is why everything is going to crap. Because bad people keep doing bad things and then they get cash and prizes on the way out. So here's some comments on it, sorted by the best. The insurance company is on the hook for the settlement, and then we wonder why our insurance premiums are through the roof. This is why we need tort reform. Plaintiff loses a lawsuit, then they must pay the defendant's lawyer's bill. All frivolous lawsuits would disappear. Someone else says the idea that no taxpayer funds will be used to pay for this is nonsense. The premiums on the town's insurance policy will go through the roof. Attorney takes $150K plus expenses, so she's left with maybe $300,000 after taxes, about $175. Not big money, really. She's going to need to work, but now she has a damaged reputation. Sad. Oh, how sad for her. How sad for her. Oh, she only gets $175,000. I don't know about you. That could pay off, I don't know, all your credit card debt, your vehicles, and put $50,000 on your mortgage. She made her choice. No reason to feel sad for her. The only one to blame is the person she sees when she looks in the mirror. Lots of replies to that. But that's not where it ends, guys. That's not where it ends. I got good news for you. Carly Russell is this lady here. Now, most of you may not know this because I didn't do a video on this. Carly Russell disappeared for like 3 days, just out of the blue, supposedly on the way home from work. And then she says, I saw a little boy by the edge of the road, and I went to go help him, and then I got kidnapped by a redheaded man, white man, MAGA supporter or whatever. Then she disappears for 3 days. Then she comes back. And everybody's like, what's going on? And she tells her story, and it doesn't fit. It doesn't sound right. And then they find a gas station video when they were looking for her. She stopped at a gas station, and she bought a bunch of snacks and drinks for like 2 or 3 days. She probably flitted off to go meet some dude in the middle of the night, because she, too, I think, was either married or had a boyfriend. Come to find out, the whole thing's an entire lie. She wasted taxpayer resources. She wasted the police officer's time. She lied. She made it sound like it was something about race. Well, guess what? No jail time. She blamed the kidnapping hoax on emotional issues and stress. See, this is why I'm not going to take women seriously. Oh, woman wants to be governor. Oh, woman wants to be in charge of this. Oh, woman wants to be held responsible. And then if they do a good job, it's yay, empowered women, women, awesome. And if they do a bad job, it's not her fault, guys. She was stressed out and she was emotional and it's other people's fault. It's not me. Don't blame me. I'm the one harmed, you see. They're like grown-up children. They're tall children. The lamp. I didn't break the lamp. The cat. The cat jumped on the counter and knocked the 40-pound lamp across the room. It's like a child that spills milk. It was a ghost. Carly Russell finally revealed Thursday why she faked her abduction last summer in a case that spurred nationwide panic as she pled guilty to 2 charges and avoided jail time. The 26-year-old nursing student apologized for falsely reporting seeing a baby crawling along an Alabama highway just minutes before she seemingly vanished, only to turn up 2 days later without an explanation. I made a grave mistake while trying to fight through various emotional issues and stress, Russell told the court through tears. I'm extremely remorseful for the panic, fear, and various range of negative emotions. I want to specifically acknowledge and take accountability, blah, blah, statement written by my lawyer. I absolutely regret my decision, lawyer talk. She pleaded guilty to the misdemeanor charges of falsely reporting to law enforcement and falsely reporting an incident. Although the Jefferson County judge acknowledged that Russell's actions set off a nationwide panic, he said it would be a waste of government resources to put her behind bars because she doesn't pose a threat to the community. Oh, you mean like all the men that the men that happen to like a little Mary Jane, but their skin color's a little darker? Straight to jail. Straight to jail. Would this pass if a guy tried that? I was under a lot of emotional stress. Instead, she was sentenced to 1 year probation, community service, and mental health counseling, and ordered to pay 17 grand in restitution to the city of Hoover. At least she's got to pay for the waste of resources and manpower it took to look for her. She had previously apologized and admitted to it, but only through lawyers. The bizarre chain of events kicked off July 13th when she lied about everything and everything and everything and everything. Somebody says, just $18K in restitution? Wasn't every cop in the state following up on false leads looking for her for a probable couple of days? Wasn't there a helicopter involved? The diverted resources from helping real victims of real crimes probably cost $100,000 in man hours and equipment hours. Pathetic. Why is everything falling apart? Why are the criminals and the bad people getting away with everything? Why are the good people that are trying to stop the bad people, why are they being punished? This is what happens when you govern and you put in law and you put in government people and you vote for people based on your fees, your feelings. This is what happens. This is why we say it a lot here. Weak men make bad times. This was a weak judge. This story on Miss Thing getting off the hook and paying out 500 grand. And I guess it didn't even go to a judge, but it went to the board and mayor of aldermen. They're weak people. They're like, we don't want to take this to trial. Just write the check and be done with it because you're embarrassed that you hired her or whatever. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Just give her money. So they act the fool and they get away with it, and then they either get a little tiny slap on the wrist or cash and prizes. I saw a post from the UK. I didn't pull this up, but I saw a post from the UK where a guy was given 16 years for hate speech for a couple of posts he had on social media. 16 years in jail for hate speech on Twitter or wherever it was from the UK. But 4 men who did the unwanted in and out with a minor got 4 years because they were not of England. They were new and didn't speak the language and might have been confused that it was a crime. Fuck you. Fuck you to all of it. When society goes to shit and everything sucks and the crime is through the roof and you're complaining about everything, this is why. And the good men, you know what? The good men, like what's his name, Daniel Perry, is that the gentleman's name that was the subway that just tried to help other people? Now the good men are like, you deal with it. I'm going to mind my own business. Oh, why weren't there any brave men that would stand up and stop this heinous thing that happened on the subway or this other? Because you persecute good men. Now you can rot in the feces that you've created out of this society. And when men say, I'm not gonna bust my nut to go out and make a huge paycheck so I can buy my family a big home and nice cars and save for a 401k, I'm gonna make just a little bit of money working with a bunch of guys that I really enjoy hanging out with. It's manual labor, but at the end of the day, we all get a beer at the pub. I go home to my, smaller little place that I've built on an acre of land, and I spend minimum amount of money on myself, and I don't become a net advantage for this government and its taxes because they hate me anyway. This is what you're going to get. And lastly, lastly, I'm not going to do another whole video on this. I do have a bookmark, though. Let me pull this up. Lastly, I'll talk about this. This is a post by somebody called Shipwreck. Hollywood is having a hard time. Boo-hoo. And this is a video of a bunch of people from Hollywood crying that they're all getting laid off and they can't afford their rich Hollywood lives anymore. I'm just going to play a couple seconds of it so you can enjoy this as much as I do. Oh, every once in a while, YouTube does or Twitter does this. Let me see if I can unmute this.
I asked a few of my friends and colleagues to describe what they're going through, and I think you should take a listen.
My name's Matt Hoban. I'm a former executive producer. So many of my mentors and my friends and collaborators are working less to the point where they're not working at all. We're just people trying to make a living.
Executive producer in Hollywood, a fuego, you're out.
I'm a former...
Is it a fuego or a fuera? A fuera.
Definitely financially struggling. I may lose my house, and it's really scary, so
A female woke executive or whatever she is, and she might lose her house because she can't pay her bills. Afuera. Who cares?
really need help and a job and just some support. So, thank you.
I'm Marcia, producer, casting director. The last show I worked on was Generation Gap. We're just trying to keep our kids fed at this point.
Boy, should have made a product that people wanted to watch. Afuera.
This is Wilfredo Hernandez. I used to be a television editor, and I'm being forced to move out of my house because I'm not going to be able to afford the mortgage anymore.
Afuera. Goodbye to all of you. You know, they want us to feel bad because all these Hollywood executives that live out in very expensive Hollywood and vote left and right for all the TV shows that make fun of anybody that isn't on the leftist train, doesn't think like they do. Just watch late night comedy. All they do is rag on middle America. All they do is rag on, well, they're so stupid, the flyover country. People like me that live in middle of Tennessee. The people that hate you are suffering. And, smells so good. The pain and suffering smells wonderful. The tears are delicious. And they expect us to care. They expect us to care about systems that take care of the people doing the bad things, the people that make fun of us, the people that hate us. And in the meantime, I go to get a pound of ground beef, and it went from $3.99 to $10 in 2 years. It tripled. And I'm supposed to feel bad for the people that hate me, that can't afford to live in rich Hollywood anymore? Oh. People are tired. I'm tired. And it might sound like I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm frustrated. It's like watching society on a motorcycle heading towards a concrete slab at 100 miles an hour, and they've decided to take the brakes off the motorcycle. And they're like, look, everybody, and you're screaming, stop doing this. You are destroying everything. And you're screaming it at the Hollywood people. You're screaming it at creators on TikTok. You're screaming it at OnlyFans content creators as they go through hundreds of men and then eventually become 35 and scream that the system's unfair because nobody wants them anymore. You're screaming at your government to stop destroying us. All we're doing is screaming. And you know what we're doing? We're yelling into the void. We're a fly in the ointment. We can't even put a wrench in the machine to stop this thing. So what do? You enjoy the decline. You have to find a way to enjoy this. I come across stuff like this, and I'm frustrated. But you know something? It's not my money. It's my tax money. Oh, if you knew oh my God, my taxes went up so much this year. Like I'm gonna be shaking like a freezing man as I write that check to the federal government. They're taking so much of my money, all for things I hate. Thank you for your money. Now we're gonna put it towards nothing that helps you and everything that destroys our society. Bye. And they don't think that we're gonna have a problem with things. But you have to find a way to enjoy the decline. You have to find a way to make sense of it. And the way I can look at it is, something, I thank God I can still afford food. Thank God I can still afford to finish my house. I'll be broke by the end of it. Probably be working down at Walmart as a night stalker for $18 an hour. But I'm going to have solar panels so I don't have an electrical bill. And I'm going to have a well so I don't have a water bill. And I'm going to have my own home free and paid for with all the money I've saved up and invested over my previous, 35 years of working. And then I'll have no money. But the point is, at least I can then sit back and watch everything fall apart. But for younger guys, for other people that are out there that are truly struggling, they have to still be in this. If I were a 25-year-old man right now, you betcha I'd be unhappy. You betcha I would be raging against the machine. You betcha I would be very tempted, like many other people are, of just saying, I'm not going to pay my taxes this year. Screw the government. Don't do that, by the way. Don't do that, by the way. There's a reason why they're hiring like 80,000 new IRS agents, because they know what's coming. They're going to squeeze every drop of blood out of you like they're trying to get it out of a stone, but they're going to squeeze you. These are the hard times we talk about. They're here. And you can rage and you can lose sleep and you can be angry about it, or you can be like me, which is right now I'm frustrated. I vent to you guys because I don't have a large cadre of friends around that I commiserate over a couple of beers at the local pub. I vent to you guys, and then I turn off the content. I go over to the other side of my building here and work out a little bit. I take the dog outside and touch some grass. I go maybe check on the progress of my home that is very slowly being completed because they're having troubles finding anybody that wants to do manual labor anymore. And then maybe I jump on a video game and play games with other guys. Say what you will, it's my hobby. If Elon Musk can get into video games, then you can't shame me for doing it either. And then I vent we have a Gilded server, and I vent to those guys. And then I have fun, and then I forget all about it, and I go to bed, and I start up the next day. And then I find something else to make me frustrated. Then I find something else to make me frustrated. And then I vent about that, and then I go to sleep. And it's an ever-repeating cycle. But you're going to have to be strong, and you're going to have to understand we've got a lot of breaking to go, and then things will get better. How bad does it get depends on how frustrated and how quickly people get, how frustrated they get. The faster this all breaks, the sooner we can rebuild it. That's where we are. So, guys, I thank you very much for listening to my rant today. I hope you get some enjoyment out of at least watching Hollywood executive producers and show writers and watching them sell their homes and move out of Hollywood because nobody loves them anymore. That's the chef's kiss, the good news. It's all going to break. The government will run out of money. They're going to try to tax you to death for it. We'll see how things go. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.